Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome all of you to my new broadcasting station. I got my new microphone yesterday, and I got the new camera 2 days ago. So I hope to just keep expanding on this and moving forward, and hopefully picking up more people. We're at 19 subscribers right now, which we had one a few days ago. So excited that we keep growing, excited that we keep making this, and I just hope that we can get more and more people. Welcome to everyone who's on so far. Already got 2 people. That's like a record. So all right, so we'll start right into the sports topic. If you guys at any time want to ask me any questions or want to tell me anything, put it right in the side box here for the comments, and I'll answer any of the questions you guys have. So our first topic of agenda today is the future for Tom Brady. Um, I don't think Bill Belichick wants him, but I think Robert Kraft wants him. So what I feel like is going to happen is I think he's going to sign a 1 to 2 year contract with the Patriots. He's going to stay in New England. I think he's more of a family person. He's not all about football. I don't think he wants to have his family move all over. So I think he'll either stay with the Patriots or he'll retire. He's reclining. He's not really doing good. He's declining, obviously, and he doesn't have too much longer in the league. I know he wants to play for longer, but the fact of the matter is he doesn't have too much time to honestly keep this up. And I mean, you saw it this year. He didn't look good at all. Like the whole time, he never looked comfortable. He never looked like he knew what was going on. He always looked like, I guess you could say, a scared cat or something like that. Bill Belichick, I think he will stay for the Patriots for a while, at least a few years. You do have to take in account for he is getting older, so I wouldn't be surprised if he necessarily retired anytime soon. But I don't think it'll be 2 years. I'm thinking more like 5 years. He's obviously one of the best coaches of all time. I think that this will be his last coaching job. I don't think he'll coach anywhere else. And if he does, I don't think it'll be a head coach. I think it'll be like defensive coordinator or something like that. So yes, because if you notice a lot about the NFL, what's happening is it's getting younger head coaches, and then there's older personnel coaches like offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator and stuff like that. So it's kind of flip flopping because it used to be more older head coach, younger system, but now it's kind of flip flopped in a way. And so I believe that's going to happen. So either Bill Belichick's going to retire in a few years, or he'll find a defensive coordinator because that's his specialty. He doesn't really care about the offense. If you notice, he does his own defense. He does everything. So not going to be surprised if he does end up just stepping down at one point and going to just a defensive coordinator. You heard it here first. NFL scores. So obviously we just had wild card weekend where I went 1-3 on my picks. I did not do good at well this weekend. Hoping I have a better weekend. I picked the Bills to win against Houston, which obviously it was opposite. It was really a close game, a really good game. Honestly, neither of them deserved to be in the playoffs with the way they played that game. So, but I guess we'll see the Houston Texans take on the Chiefs this weekend. I think the Chiefs will get this game, and I think it'll be a runaway. I think they'll run away with this game. Then the Patriots and Tennessee Titans played. Tennessee played a great game. They had defense pretty much all 4 quarters. Their offense was pretty good considering how good and stellar the Patriots defense has been. Not really surprised here that they won. I did pick the Patriots, but I did kind of second guess myself, and I kind of thought that there was a chance that definitely I could see them pulling off an upset in Gillette Stadium, which they ended up doing, and now they'll play Baltimore. And I think this game's going to be a lot closer than people anticipate. I think it's going to be very close, actually. I think it'll be a last-minute drive that takes the winner from the loser. And I do see Tennessee could possibly knock off Baltimore, but I definitely am going to go with Baltimore on this one. The next one, we go over to the NFC side, where we had the Vikings and Saints. I picked Saints to win this one. I picked it heavy. Kind of still hurts. I was rooting for the Saints, but alas, the Vikings are going to go to San Francisco. I think this will actually be closer than anticipated. I'm going to tell you that. I think 49ers are going to be a little cocky. I don't think they're going to take the Vikings seriously, and I think the Vikings are going to run one on them. But I do think San Francisco will come in and win at the end of the game, but I think it'll be closer than a lot of people think. And then the next one, we have the Packers and Seattle. Seattle won against the Eagles, of course. The Eagles were very not surprised at all that they didn't win. The Eagles were very short-manned. I'm surprised that the Seahawks didn't win more than 8 points. So I think Green Bay will take care of business. I think they'll handle them pretty well. Hoping Green Bay wins. I think Green Bay will, just because of the fact that they're in home field advantage. Anytime you get Aaron Rodgers in December and January at Lambeau Field, it's always tough. It doesn't matter if you're the best team in the league. Going into Lambeau and living and going against Aaron Rodgers, it's always tough. It's a really tough one to go against him. I mean, especially in the frozen snow, that's like his territory. I know the California kid coming to Wisconsin, but yeah, Aaron Rodgers in Lambeau, that's always a tough one. I do see them pulling off the win against the Seahawks. So now we're going to go to current scores with the NBA. So I'll just whip out my phone and look at ESPN, and then we can just kind of go from there and talk about that. So what's happening in basketball? Well, tonight we have, if you didn't hear yesterday, the Bucks lost to the Spurs. I wasn't really too surprised. Spurs are a good resurging team. Bucks obviously probably took them a little too lightly. They played in San Antonio. A little shocking, but not really as shocking as it should be. Excuse me, I'm sick right now, so it's not, the words really aren't coming good out of my mouth if you couldn't tell. All right, current scores in the NBA. Nets 92 to Thunder 89. I think the Thunder will win this game in the end. Timberwolves at the Grizzlies. Timberwolves are winning 72 to 69. Timberwolves should win this game. Kings versus the Suns. It's the end of the first quarter, 29 to 26 Suns. This will be a close game. I think I'm going to go with the Suns on this. Suns at home, plus they got Devin Booker. I think that's a good win for the Suns, as they are up by 3 points currently. Pistons at the Cavaliers. Cavaliers only lost by 2. Pistons, they're not that good of a team, but the Cavaliers, they surely aren't. Good game there for two bad teams. And then lastly, we have the Trailblazers beating the Raptors 101 to 99. No shocker here. The Trailblazers are a better, well, I guess they're both really good teams, but I definitely think I would have taken Toronto over this. But Toronto has been injured and they've lost a couple of games in a row. And then later tonight, we have the Knicks at the Lakers. I definitely expect the Lakers to win this, and it should not be close. Coaching news. If you haven't heard, Mike McCarthy is the new coach for the Dallas Cowboys. I think this will honestly be a good matchup for two younger offenses. I thought he'd either go to the Browns or to the Cowboys. I think he'll do good in the Cowboys. I think him and Jerry Jones will be a good duo together, and so I look forward to seeing that one. Actually, I want to see how that one plays out. If you haven't heard, the wide receivers coach for the Patriots is now the Giants head coach. He is 38 years old. Like I was telling you, the younger coaches nowadays, so not really too surprised there. A younger coach. I did think they were going to go with Jason Garrett, but I guess not. So Jason Garrett, my guess is he's probably going to end up if I had to say, I think he's going to end up going for like an offensive coordinator position or something like that. I don't think he'll get a head coaching job anytime soon after what happened with the Cowboys. Yeah. All right. NHL, nothing really here to report. There's obviously the scores. Conor McGregor, if you haven't heard, he is coming back to do another boxing round. He lost last time to Floyd Mayweather, and that was about 2 years ago. But it was actually close considering he hasn't ever been in boxing. He's always been in the UFC, the wrestling. But he did do it, and so I guess he's taken a couple years off, and he's ready to return, and he's going to face Cowboy, this guy named Cowboy, who actually wears a cowboy hat. It's pretty hilarious, actually. So this will be a good match. I think Conor McGregor will win. Oh, if you haven't heard the news about Antonio Brown and Logan Paul, I do hope they fight. I think that'll be a good round. Antonio Brown, he made a comment saying something to Logan Paul. I forgot it was. And Logan Paul responded back, "I'll drop you faster than you lost the job to the Patriots," or something like that. It was just funny. I was laughing. I was like, "Wow, that's pretty funny." Yeah. So NCAA news, of course. In under a week, we have going to going to the college football championship. We have the LSU and Clemson. Clemson should win this, or Clemson should lose this game. LSU should win. Joe Burrow, he's great. I think that obviously you're great if you throw 7 touchdowns in just one half of football. So no shocker right here. So I definitely think LSU is going to win this. In the NCAA for the men's basketball, we have a couple of good games right now. Like I said, Baylor and Texas Tech yesterday, 19-15. Baylor's winning, but that's close. It's a number 4 against a number 22. But honestly, a really close game. I wouldn't be surprised about an upset. Maryland defeated Ohio State 67-55 today, which Ohio State's kind of been sinking down. The Badgers beat them recently, and the Badgers aren't that good of a team. They're a pretty good team, but they're not that great. So don't know what's going on there. They'll probably have some things to adjust and make some moves, and we'll see what happens. Award predictions for the NFL and NBA. Thank you, Brett Hardigan, for subscribing to me. I'm not sure if you're on watching this. Thank you, Brett. I think you're on here watching this. But yeah, so award predictions for the NFL. Oh, wow, 3 people on. Award predictions for the NFL and the NBA. I do see MVP for the NFL. You got to go with, of course, Lamar Jackson. Coach of the year, I think you got to go with Kyle Shanahan. He took a team that was 4-12 or 5-11 last year, the San Francisco 49ers. They're 13-3, first seed in the playoffs for the NFC. Definitely think you got to consider him for Coach of the Year candidate. Would not be surprised if he did. Rookie of the Year, hey Brett, Rookie of the Year for the NFL, I think you have to go with Josh Jacobs of the Oakland Raiders. Kyler Murray. I'll go with Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, he's been actually pretty good for a rookie, more touchdowns than interceptions, and he actually has quite a few passing yards. I think he's over 3,500, if not 4,000. Great guy, great player. He'll only progress. I mean, it's pretty hard when you're that short playing in the NFL, but he gets it done. Offensive Rookie of the Year, I'm going to go with Josh Jacobs, like I was saying before, with the Oakland Raiders. Good running back. They actually haven't had a really good running back in a while, and he's definitely taking it up. So good for him. Great player. Defensive Rookie of the Year, who else other than Nick Bosa for the San Francisco 49ers, one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, and Nick Bosa is, of course, part of that. Lots of sacks piled onto his record. He's a great player, fresh out of Ohio State. Defensive Rookie of the Year right there. As far as Offensive Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, I think you have to go with Christian McCaffrey. If you don't go with Lamar Jackson, Christian McCaffrey is still doing things that people haven't heard of, especially for a white running back. He's a great player, great guy. I've seen a lot of his playing, and he's a beast at it. He's a very more than 2-dimensional. He's 3-dimensional. I mean, you have him as blocking, you have him as receiving, you have him as even I think he threw a couple passes there, if I remember right, and of course rushing. Great player, great guy, on and off the field. Definitely a player that should be in the conversation for Offensive Player of the Year. And then Defensive Player of the Year, I think you have to go with Stephon Gilmore. Reason why he's had 7 interceptions this season. He's been electric for the Patriots. I don't think he even gave up a touchdown. Maybe he did, but 1 or 2, but still electric, great cornerback, probably the best in the league for the Patriots. One of the reasons the Patriots could actually win double-digit games is because of this guy. The offense wasn't producing, but the defense definitely was, and he was a big part of that. So definitely good for him. Great player. Respect the guy. Great guy. And then after that, we go to the NBA midseason kind of award predictions. I think MVP so far right now, you got to go with Giannis, the Greek Freak. Unstoppable, still defensive and offensive. If you want to just go offensive, you'd say James Harden, but offensive and defensive, you got to go with the the GOAT, the MVP, Giannis, and he only gets better. Coach of the year, I think you got to go with Lou Williams for the Clippers, or I think you should honestly go. There's three I had in mind for this. Either Lou Williams for the Clippers. I mean, he's brought that team up drastically. You also got to keep in mind the Lakers coach too, because the Lakers have one of the best records in the league, and and I'm sick. I'm sorry, y'all. And the Lakers have one of the best records in the leagues, of course. And last year they didn't even make the playoffs, so definitely a big change up from that. And my final guy is Mike Budenholzer. He actually had a really good time last year for the Bucks coach. Definitely brought them up. He was the coach of the year last year. He could be again because the Bucks look even better than last year, and I know that was hard to see, but definitely look better than last year. Great coach, great guy. I heard Milwaukee loves him. I'm still am a Bucks fan, so definitely rooting for him. Good guy. Other than that, most improved. Really don't have one yet. Offensive, I really haven't seen any rookies of the year so far in the NBA. Maybe it's just me, but I haven't really saw anyone that's like, wow, they're impressive. I thought Zion Williams was going to be the guy, and then he goes down with knee injury and stuff like that. So I thought he was going to be the guy. I guess he was not. So now I really just don't know who the next person up is for that. I'll get back to you on that one, but I haven't really paid enough attention to that to see that, unfortunately. 6 men of the year, you probably got to go with Siakam. He's been a great player, always is. He's never a starter. He's never a starter, but he's always a great person off the bench. Go with him. Great guy, great player. Definitely, he can make some things. He's very impressive. A great 3-point percentage and a great field goal percentage when he comes off the bench. Paul Siakam. All right, and then so those are all the rundowns for today. So I'll just kind of go over some other things while we're talking. But if you guys have any questions or anything you want me to talk about, put it right in the comments right there, and I'll answer it or kind of debate upon it. Since we're really out of content, but I'll go over things for a few minutes until either someone types in a comment and I can go over it or what I think is going to happen. So, yeah. All right, this is actually one I get a lot. Who do you think should be the coach, or who do you think should be the quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars? Do you think you should go with Nick Foles or Gardner Minshew? And honestly, that's tough. I think Gardner Minshew, he was terrific as a rookie, and Nick Foles didn't really show anything. I think you have to go with Gardner Minshew currently. However, I think you give Nick Foles like 4 games when he comes back next season because they paid him all that money. You don't want to just see him sit around. You put 4 games if he produces. You keep him in there. Let Gardner sit on the bench, gain some more experience, I guess. If he does not perform well, I think you should put Gardner in and be done with it. Try to see if you can trade up Nick Foles because he's a good backup, but I don't know if he's a starter capability yet, or if you're just looking for a playoff quarterback. Apparently, that's your guy since he's been like unstoppable in the playoffs. They had a nickname for him, and I hope there's no children on here, but they called him Big Dick Nick, and I thought that was pretty hilarious because he led his teams from basically Carson Wentz got injured, and then he would take over. Too bad the Eagles didn't have him this year. Instead, they had 40-year-old McCown in there, and he didn't really do anything, as you saw, because the Seahawks ended up winning 17-9. All the Eagles could do all day was get some field goals, but that's none of my business. Next on the list, already talked about coaching moves. Mike McCarthy to the Cowboys. That's probably the biggest one. I like this one. I thought he'd be either good for the Browns or for the Cowboys. Now, if we're going to go and talk about who I think the Browns' new coach is going to be, I think you got several candidates, but I think the one that would strike the most, if Josh McDaniels does not go to the Colts, I think he would be a good fit into Baker Mayfield in the offense, because Baker Mayfield, he reminds me of a lot of a system quarterback. He reminds me of a system quarterback like Tom Brady. I don't think he's really one to get out and run and try new thing. He's got his own system. I feel like he's like that. So I think he'd be a good fit for the Cleveland Browns offense, and maybe he could kind of fix all that selfishness over there, because really the reason Freddie Kitchens, he was a good coach. Don't get me wrong, he was a good coach. I mean, look, that was the best record they had in a long time. But here's the thing, and here's the thing I will tell you. Freddie Kitchens, the reason he lost his job was it wasn't all the on-field stuff. It was all the off-field stuff, like players walking out of press conferences or starting fights, or look at the Myles Garrett head bashing scene. You can't have players like that. And if you're a coach, that's all falling on you for not coaching the team right. So a lot of respect to Freddie Kitchens. Hope he does find another job. Don't think he'll be a head coach anytime soon, but I think he'll find himself a nice role. I just got 4 people on here. If y'all have any questions, just put in the side comment box. But yeah, definitely I see 100% Freddie Kitchens will land on his feet and find a good assistant coaching job somewhere else. Now, my thing about Bill O'Brien, and since we're talking about coaches right now, Bill O'Brien, I like him as a coach, but I don't think I think if he would have lost the playoff game against the Bills in Houston, definitely would have seen him lose his job. I think he's kind of on the hot seat right now. If they are not producing, I think they'll kick him out. He probably just bought himself another year or two winning this playoff game, and we'll see how long that continues as they go into Kansas City, which will definitely be a tough game. But I definitely respect Bill O'Brien. Just don't think he's a good coach for the Houston Texans. But yeah. All right. Well, looks like it is that time of the night. Did all my brief breakdown. Please tell your friends about this, as I'm trying to grow this channel, and maybe we can even have sponsorships, or someone can change my profile picture there. Just me in a football thing. Maybe you can make it me with the podcast or something like that. But thank you so much for everyone who tuned in. I know there's one person on here, but there were more before, and more people will see this later. I love having all your company. Please just promote me, trying to get more better out there, or trying to get better and get more practice, as this is a field that I want to go into. Sorry if my voice was a little scratchy. Very sick right now, but I do try to make time for this. All right. Good night, everyone. You have a great night.